Butterfly. Hi, hello, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome. We are going to have a little chat today. I had a shower thought recently. What if it's called soul food, not because of how it feeds your soul, but because the chef put their soul into it? It sounds really tiring, eh? How do we keep putting our heart and soul into something day in and day out, usually giving more than we can take without getting burnt out? Burnout is a bit of a buzzword. From students to adults questioning their life's purpose, it's pretty much certain that at some point you struggled to muster up the energy to get up and do the thing. Things that may have brought excitement in the past, but don't feel the same anymore. It's a pretty depressing picture, but this dip does not come without its upswing. I know this sounds like a tangent, but stick with me. It'll all make sense in a sec, okay? A state of flow is often talked about in productivity and self-development. This process of building up momentum and feeling like you're in the zone. It's a pretty good place to be. This system is almost guaranteed to bring out the best in you in some way, shape or form. But like all systems, physical or metaphorical, they require maintenance. Even if you are prioritizing rest, recharging and pacing yourself perfectly, fatigue will accumulate over time because of this lovely thing called chaos. Anything that can happen will happen, even though we may feel like we have everything down pat. These systems are very much internal. The external world doesn't really care. Our physical habits and choices are a result of the internal systems that we've built and the circumstances we are in. Adapting to spontaneous changes does take its toll on us. For example, you probably wouldn't be able to go through your night routine as well if you spend the evening at the emergency room because someone got hurt. The thing is, it doesn't have to end there. A lot of these changes snowball. Sleeping later would affect next morning, how you interact with people, and how they end up interacting with other people. You get the idea. Butterfly effect thing going on, right? Over time, these little detours do add up. If left unaddressed, we may find ourselves in burnout land. If you are feeling burnt out, this could be a sign that your current systems just aren't keeping up with the amount of chaos in your life. Which brings us to the concept of a hard reset. The obvious and probably most popular remedy for burnout is to hit the pause button and catch a break. But more often than not, this is kind of a luxury that we may not be able to afford, especially if we are experiencing burnout with work or school, with deadlines that will come regardless of how we're feeling or how we're doing. A hard reset goes beyond organizing stuff like files and data, but also how we view the physical spaces around us, as well as our mental space. Taking a step back and looking at how some practices no longer serve you. I'm going to touch on 3 simple ways that you can implement a hard reset. Number 1, re-establishing your schedule and sleep cycle. It is super easy to get carried away and sell ourselves short of an hour or 2 of rest. The problem is when this accumulates and just becomes a habit rather than a last resort that we pull out of the bag. By setting a clear expectation for yourself to be bed by a certain time and up by a certain time, you are taking the first step to drawing that boundary between yourself and whatever it is that is obviously draining and tiring quicker than you can recover from. Number 2, starting your day slow. Just like how a machine would take some time to boot up, we need to give ourselves some leeway at the start of our day to warm up. Having low-level tasks integrated through our morning routines like going for a short walk, meditating, or even just doing the dishes can help ease ourselves into a more sustainable state of flow. On this particular morning, I was feeling a little impulsive. I ended up trimming my hair. Whatever works, right? Giving ourselves that space between getting up and starting work would help us be a little more objective with what we have to do for the day rather than just rolling over, getting ready and diving straight into work, which can kind of cause us to hold on to this ball of tense, anxious energy throughout our day. That's the last thing that's gonna unburn out you. Number 3, letting go of processes that no longer serve you. Often it can be really hard to get over our emotional attachment to our daily habits. There was a point when I would refuse to go to bed until I've watched at least 1 episode of Hannibal. It calmed me down and made me feel like I was carving out some time from my busy day to enjoy something after a long shift at work. But of course, I was sacrificing 40 minutes of sleep to do that for just 1 episode, and that adds up pretty quickly. It is completely normal to get attached to these habits. We see the benefits they have for us and have done them long enough that they feel like a part of us. But if they are taking away more than we can give, the return on investment doesn't really justify us keeping this up. I challenge you to look at your daily routine and find a habit that isn't really giving you as much as it has been in the past. Chances are, if you are going through some kind of burnout, you would find something. A hard reset will give you that mental green light you need to let go of these processes, while having the intention to clear up some of that accumulated crust that has built up as a result of constantly being on the go. Taking stock and curating this information can give insight into why you are feeling burnout to begin with. This can be a pretty handy button to push when you aren't really capable of taking a solid break from work. And as much as we might like to think of ourselves as exceptions, burnout is fairly normal, an expected phase in our creative cycles that we all have to go through at some point. Hopefully having this tool at your disposal will help you navigate it better in the future. If you are going through burnout, I genuinely hope that you feel better soon. Take whatever time you can get to just... you need it. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. Thank you so much for choosing to share your time with me. As always, I will see you guys in the next one.